And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Ryan Metzler.
Today we have Famiglia with us here, and it's a two-player card game in which you're trying to collect mobsters. Essentially, you're trying to grow your mob. Now they may be, typical gangster-type mobsters, or street thugs, or accountants for the mob, or whatever they may be. You're trying to collect them using different special abilities. As I said, it plays two players, and it's probably a 20 to 30 minute card game. Easy to play, pretty easy to learn, with some decent strategy to it. So, with that said, why don't we take a look at what's inside the box and how the game plays. So here's the rule book. As you can see, it's not real big. It's just an elongated piece of paper folded up, and it's two-sided. And it goes through all the rules, it goes through all the special abilities, how the game's played, how the game can end. It's nothing special, but it does get the job done. You can learn the game pretty easily in a couple minutes and get right to playing. As it's a two-player game, you only got to teach one other person, and the rules do it just fine. So that's really all there is to say about that. The next thing you get is two starting hands. Now the starting hand is the same for each player, but with different nice illustrations. You can see the art's kind of cartoony, in a very Friedman Freeze type of style here. And each starting hand consists of 4 cards, each of which are 0 cards for each of the 4 colors included in the game. You can see the 0 reds here. They're worth 1 point. You can see the 0 yellows, greens, and blues are all worth no points. The main focus of this, or the main reason for this, is that yellow, green, and blue all have special abilities. Now, not for the 0 cards, but later in the game they'll all have special abilities, whereas red has no special ability. Each player, as I said, has an identical hand. You'll each start with 4 cards, and the objective is to be collecting more cards of each color using cards of a lower level. So 0 being lowest level, you're going to try and use level 0 cards to collect level 1 cards, level 1 cards to collect level 2s, and 2s to collect 3s, 3s to 4s. And I'll show you how that works in the next segment. So here we have a starting layout for Famiglia. You can see starting player hands, and then they have their own general play areas in front of them, so here and here. And then there's the central play area, which is always going to contain 6 cards at the start of the game. On a player's turn, they're going to be trying to capture these cards. You can see there's level 1s, 2s, and 3 cards out on the board right now, and there's no level 0s. In order to capture a card, for example, in order to capture this yellow 1 here, I would need two level 0s that are yellow in my hand, or some combination of special cards that allows me to reduce this and take it for free. Now, as the starting hand consists of 4 zeros all of different colors, I'm not going to be able to capture anything currently on the board. The option on your turn then is to discard 1 card and then flip as many cards as the numerical value of that card into the play area. Now, so we can see here there's 1s, 2s, and 3s, so I could discard this 3 and flip 3 new cards from the deck into the play area, giving me 3 new zeros. I can then take a card from the playing area because in order to take a 0, you do not need to meet any requirements. You can simply take a 0 from the play area and add it to your hand. The second player now does not have the option of flipping a card in order to turn more cards into the play area because there are currently 0s that they may take. So they are forced to take one of the 2s, or if they were to have the appropriate cards in their hand, to take one of the other cards. In this manner, they can just take the 0 and continue on with the game. Now that they'll have 2 different 0s in their hands, they may have the option to take one of these cards. So for example, the first player happens to have 2 level 0 cards. They can take their 2 level 0s and show them. So here's 2 level 0s. They will play 1 to their play area, take the level 1 card, and add it to their hand with the other level 0. That's the manner in which you capture cards. You must have 2 cards of the lower level, or a combination of special cards that allows you to do something different. You play one of the cards that you need of the lower level to your play area, you take the higher level card and leave the other lower level card in your hand, and that's the method of the game. The game will go on until you cycle through the deck twice, allowing you to cycle sometimes in order to get more 0s onto the board. The first time through, whereas the second time through, cycling the cards is limited so that you don't end the game too quickly. The rest of the deck consists of additional cards in each of the 4 colors, representing 4 different types of gangsters or mobsters. Here we have the red cards 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And as I said, red has no special ability, but I just wanted to show you the cards and point out that they're worth 1, 3, 6, 10, and 15 points respectively. Now, this is more than the corresponding cards of other colors because red has no special ability. That said, why don't we take a look at the special ability of all of the other cards. The green cards, 0 through 4, have a special ability. As you can see, they're worth 0, 1, 3, 6, and 10 points respectively, so less than the red cards. But you can see here, indicated by this hand, that they have a special ability. So the hand on the 1 card shows a little 0 in the middle of it, and what this means is that this card can either act as a green 1 or as a 0 of any other color, including green. Sorry, any color, including green. The 2, for example, can act as a 0 or 1 of any color, or a 2 of its own color. 3, a 0 through 2, and 4, a 0 through 3. So essentially, green overall act as wild cards of at least one level below their own color. So here are the yellow cards. They're arranged point-wise much the same as the green cards. And these have a different special ability. So you can see here in the fist, there's a -1, -2, -3, and -4. What these cards do is they allow you to play them to your play area in order to reduce the level of cards in the central play area by the levels shown. So -1 level, -2 levels, -3, or -4. And what this does, it makes them easier to capture using lower level cards. So for example, a level 2 card reduced by 2 levels now becomes a level 0 card and can be picked up for free. Or a level 4 reduced by 2 levels can be picked up using 2 level 1 cards, as it's now a level 2. Lastly, we have the blue cards, and their special ability in the arrow here has 1, 2, 3, and 4 again, but what this allows you to do, they're kind of the accountants or the managers, and they're going to allow you to take cards that you've already played to your own personal play area back into your hand in exchange for cards that are currently in your hand. So essentially, if you play the level 1 down to the table, you may now swap 1 additional card from your hand for 1 card that has been played to your play area. The 2 allows you to play it and then swap 2 additional cards, and the 3 and the 4 likewise. So a good example of use of special abilities is attempting to get this 4 as the player on my left here. The 4 is going to be notoriously difficult to get because it requires 2 yellow level 3s, which in themselves are not easy to obtain. But let's say, for example, the player had obtained 1 yellow level 3. They could play this to their play area, reducing the level of everything in play by 3 levels. So now this is a level 0, both of these level 1s. Matter of fact, everything on the table is a level 0, except for the 4, which is now a level 1 of yellow. They could then use a level 0 of yellow and a level 1 of green, which could be a level 0 of yellow as a wild card, to pick up this 4, placing it into their hand. They then have the choice as to whether they want to play the yellow 0 or the green 1 to their play area. The smart move here would be to play the level 0 to the play area, keeping the green 1 in their hand, as it can be used later as a wild card again. So that's Famiglia in a nutshell. The game is actually really quite fun. I saw a concept. I actually watched a video review of it previously in order to try and figure out how to play the game and if I'd like it. And the review was a little bit out of order, so I tried to order this one a little bit better so that it was a little more understandable. Now, the game seems like it's going to be very light, and it is a light game in general, but there's really a lot that you can pay attention to in this game in order to best compete with your opponent. Maybe there's a card on the table that you want to flip out so that they can't get it. It's very important to pay attention to what cards your opponent's picking up to best prevent them from getting more cards, flipping them out, discarding them, and putting new cards into the play area. You can obviously try and play different strategies of picking up different cards. Maybe you want to focus on red to get more points, or maybe you want to focus on blue to switch more things in and out of your hand. There's a lot of options, so it's not as shallow of a game as it immediately seems. It's really fun, it plays very fast, and I really enjoy it. So I'd recommend this as a very light filler with some pretty decent strategy overall. Famiglia by Rio Grande Games, not too bad. Take a look at it.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Yeah?